Hello and welcome to ProtoMet Reviews, where today we're going to be finishing up the original trilogy with Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Now, little bit of backstory, not nearly as much as before. Basically, check out the previous review if you want to check out what's going on leading up into this. But the backstory for this, that doesn't require a whole other review, is that their empire has secretly been rebuilding the Death Star, and that's really where we have left off. With where we start off with Darth Vader arriving on the still being rebuilt Death Star and talking with the guy in charge because they've been behind schedule. He basically tells them, "You should probably get on schedule because the Emperor's gonna show up to inspect," and that really lights a fire under his butt. Anyway, cut to Tatooine, where R2-D2 and C-3PO, the two droids from the past 5 films, 5 films already, wow, are making their way through the desert trying to find Jabba the Hutt's palace because they have a message to give to the to the big slug gangster. So they arrive, they give their message, which is basically that their Jedi Master wants to make a deal to get Han Solo back, and as a present, he's given them these 2 droids, which C-3PO is actually horrified to learn. He was unaware that this was going to happen. Well, Jabba decides, no, I'm not going to make a deal, but I'm going to keep the droids. So C-3PO and R2 are taken to get reassigned, and C-3PO is given the new assignment of being Jabba's new translator. And he quickly learns what had happened with the previous one, or at least what's left of him. And R2 gets some other random odd job, which we'll find out later. So anyway, cut to a party. The Jabba's having music. Everybody's having fun, dancing. He's got one of his slave ladies there dancing, and she's not too enthused. And Jabba's like, no, you gotta be enthused. But she's not enthused, so he drops her into a pit, and then everybody gathers around to watch what happens. But we don't get to see what happens, other than that it's pretty horrifying. We don't get to see what happens, but we hear the horrified screams. So, yeah. But then an uninvited guest shows up, a bounty hunter who's got Chewbacca tagging along. And earlier C-3PO mentioned that Chewbacca and Lando who had gone off to find Han, did not come back, and this bounty hunter is trying to bargain a deal for the bounty on Chewbacca's head. And Jabba's like, no, you only get like 21 credits. But the guy wants 50,000 credits. 21,000 credits. But the bounty hunter wants 50,000 credits. And to push the bargaining in his favor, he's brought along a thermal detonator, which he is completely willing to set off in the crowd of people. Jabba actually likes that bounty hunter's gumption and raises up to like 35,000 credits. And the bounty hunter is like, yeah, okay, sounds good. As they take Chewbacca away, and the party goes back, and then later that night, that same bounty hunter who goes to find Han Solo's carbonite slab, which is like hanging in front of a wall, as a big decoration because Jabba the Hutt really likes the new decoration. And so bounty hunter sneaks around at night and decides to free Han Solo. Why? Well, we'll learn soon. And Han Solo gets unfrozen from the carbonite, but because of the long hibernation and all the freezing that entails, he's not quite there. He's blind for a little while and disoriented. But the bounty hunter reveals that it's actually Leia who has come to free him. Unfortunately for her, Jabba and his party show up and they're like, "Hey, we knew it was you. We knew it was somebody trying to free Han. Yeah, we caught you. You're not gonna free Han." And so they take her away. But it's also revealed that one of Jabba's guards is actually Lando in disguise. So that'll come into play later. So yeah, they basically take Leia, who tells them, don't do this, you're gonna regret it. Now they take her, put her in a skimpy outfit, and make her a slave. And anybody who's seeing what that looks like will remember that, because that is very memorable. But I digress. So then finally a third visitor arrives, and it's Luke, wearing a cloak, claiming to be a Jedi Master. Really wonder what happened between the two films. Must have gotten a lot of training. And anyway, he shows up and tells Jabba, it's like, "Hey, let my friends go. If you let my friends go, then no harm will come to you." And Jabba's like, "Seriously? Dude?" Luke even tries some mind tricks, which trick Jabba's attendant, but not Jabba's. Like, attendant, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And then he drops him down into that same pit that one slave girl from before got dropped down into. And we finally learned what was so horrifying. It's a giant monster called a Rancor. Which probably will wind up on some list on Coming Along. Maybe. Probably. Definitely. Anyway, so Luke is left to fend for himself against the Rancor, and he does quite well, managing to actually kill it by dropping a large door on it. And then he's apprehended, and we see one of the guys who I believe had been raising the Rancor, and he seems really saddened by it. Like honestly, Luke, dude, you just messed up. You just ruined this guy's life. The Rancor was everything to him. He's really broken up over it. So Luke gets put in the same cell as gets sentenced to the same fate that Han and Chewie have been sentenced to, which is for everyone to go out into the desert to watch the three get dropped into a giant sand pit with teeth. Which let me reiterate, giant sand pit with teeth. Yeah, that thing's a giant whatever. That is a giant monster. That may also wind up on a list. We'll have to see. And Luke is like, "Hey Jabba, one last chance. Let us go or die." Jabba's like, let him die. So they push Luke. So Luke gets sent out on the what the heck's it called? The plank. Walking the plank. Yeah, I guess. So they send him out on that diving board thing, and he goes down. But as he goes down, he turns, crabs up, and pulls himself back up quickly. And at the same time, R2 launches Luke's new lightsaber, which Luke starts using to just mess Jabba's henchmen up, managing to free Chewie and Han. And Lando is also helping out because he's now revealed that, hey, I'm not with you guys anymore. I'm helping my friends. Today just mess stuff up, and Leia takes this opportunity to strangle Jabba to death with the chain she's attached to, and she, R2, and C-3PO manage to reunite with everybody. That bounty hunter Boba Fett, he gets knocked into the the tooth pit. And it's a pretty awesome and fun scene, honestly. I recommend checking it out. But the good guys managed to get out of it unscathed, and so they're about to head back to the rebels, and Luke is like, "No, I'm gonna head back to Dagobah. I'll catch up with you." So Leia and the others, they had to meet back up with the rebels, and Luke arrives on Dagobah, where a very sick Yoda is there awaiting him, and Luke confronts Yoda. Is like, "Hey, is Darth Vader really my father?" And Yoda's like, "Yeah, we didn't want to tell you." Kind of disappointed at the fact that you had to learn. And then Luke's like, "Well, why are you disappointed?" And Yoda's like, "Because we don't think you were because I don't think you were ready to learn." And shortly after, Luke dies, but Yoda mentions some other one, and so Luke has a heart-to-heart with Obi-Wan's ghost, who tells him, "Yeah, I kinda lied, sort of," and tells him the truth about what happened with Luke's father, and reveals that there is indeed a twin. Luke actually has a twin sister, and Luke, kind of on his own, good for him, realizes that it's actually Leia. And so both Yoda and Obi-Wan basically tell Luke that in order to complete his Jedi training, he'll have to confront Darth Vader. So Luke heads back off Dagobah to rejoin the rebels. Now, back with the rebels, they've gotten their hands on the plans for this new Death Star, and apparently there was great sacrifice to get their hands on it. But they've learned that it's being constructed in the orbit of the forest moon of Endor. Okay? And so Lando is now a member of the Rebel Alliance, a general, I think. Maybe it's a lieutenant, I can't remember exactly. But he's going to be leading a force to attack them, but they first need to take out the shield generator that's protecting the ship. And so it turns out that Han has to lead a group down to the forest moon in order to disable the shield generator. And Leia agrees to go with him. Chewie does, because it's Chewie. And then Luke, who's just shown up, agrees to go with him. And a bunch of other guys do too, but they do that off screen. So, yeah. Anyway, back with the being rebuilt Death Star, the Emperor has arrived, and Darth Vader is like, "Hey, I want to keep going after my son. I want to trying to convince him to join us." It's like, "Okay, you gotta stick around. Stuff's gonna go down, probably." Because the Emperor is a dick and evil, and yeah, no surprise there. So anyway, a stolen Imperial craft that the rebels have heads towards Endor with Han Solo piloting, and they get to a point where they gotta give clearance, and they give their code, and the guy who's with Darth Vader is like, "Hey, they've just given us their code. It's kind of an old code, but it's still clear. Should we let him go?" And Darth Vader's like, "Yeah, I'll take care of it." So Han and his group go down to Endor. Well, I guess Darth Vader's gonna head down himself. Okay, and then they get down and they sneak around a bit. They encounter a small group of stormtroopers on speeders who are, I guess, part of a patrol, and they attempt to ambush them. Doesn't really work. Fight ensues. Two of the two of the stormtroopers take off on their speeders to go inform people. Luke and Leia take after them. Han and Chewie take care of the one left that didn't get killed earlier. And stuff happens. Eventually 2 more stormtroopers enter the fray, but they get taken out of commission. The original 2 get taken out of commission, but during all this, Luke and Leia get separated. And when Luke manages to regroup with Han and the others, and he's come to realize that his very presence is potentially compromising the mission, because he can sense Darth Vader, and he knows that Vader knows he's there, so he's a bit worried. But he regroups with Han and is like, we got separated. And so cut back to Leia, who's awoken by a teddy bear looking creature called an Ewok, specifically Wicket. I'm aware that that's what they call him. None of the Ewoks in the film actually talk, because they're freaking teddy bear looking things. They get their own yippy, yip yippy, yip yip talk language. I don't know. Oh, Ewokese? Let's go with that. Anyway, so Leia recovers and meets this Ewok guy, and it's like, hey, come on. I'm not gonna hurt you. Just come on here. You want some food? So she makes friends with Wicket, and then she gets caught by some stormtroopers. But thankfully, with Wicket's help, she manages to avoid capture, and Wicket takes her back to his village. Okay, let's see. All right, then Han and their group head deeper into the forest, and they get caught by a bunch of other Ewoks, not Wookiees. Originally it was supposed to be Wookiees, from what I understand, but they got replaced by Ewoks for, I guess, marketing reasons or something. But anyway, they get caught by a bunch of Ewoks, and they get taken back to their village. But during all this, C-3PO gets revealed, and the Ewoks think that 3PO is a god. And he kind of is a bit concerned on what he should do. And I was like, tell him you're a god. But he's like, but I'm not. I probably shouldn't lie. Apparently he's programmed to not pretend to be a deity. But anyway, Han, Luke, and Chewie... Han, Luke, Chewie, R2-D2, and C-3PO are taken back to the village, with only C-3PO getting royal treatment because they think he's a god. And Luke is like, tell them that if they don't release us, you're going to get really mad and use your powers. And then C-3PO is like, but I don't got powers. It's like, just do it. So he tells the Ewoks in their Ewokese, and the Ewoks don't really believe him, despite the fact that they believe that he's a god. Go figure. So they're about ready to cook up Han when Luke decides to break out his Jedi tricks and levitate C-3PO above the now terrified Ewok masses. Also, Leia has come out at some point and has also tried to convince the Ewoks to let her friends go, but it's really just the whole levitating C-3PO that does the trick. Anyway, later the Ewoks set Han and the others free, and C-3PO regales them with the stories of what has happened over the course of the previous 2 films. I assume, because Ewokese. But yeah, basically he tells the Ewoks what has happened over the course of the previous 2 films and how they got to this point. And the Ewoks basically welcome everybody as members of their tribe. Good for them. So anyway, Luke decides to go off to confront Vader, to try and help keep the mission from not being compromised. And Leia's like, don't go, Luke. And Luke's like, but I gotta. Also, I'm your brother. And so Luke goes off. Leia has to be consoled by Han, who hasn't been told that the whole Luke, Leia, brother, sister thing yet. Anyway, so Luke surrenders himself to the Empire, and he's taken before Darth Vader, and tries to convince Vader, hey, don't take me before the Empire. Come back with us. Help us. You're a good person. I can sense the conflict in your heart. But Darth Vader's like, no, dark side's too powerful. You know what? No, I gotta take you to the Emperor. And Luke's like, okay. And so they go up to see the Emperor. Anyway, the next morning, Han and the rebel soldiers that he's with strike out to attack a secret entrance to the shield generator base. And it goes fairly well for them. Until it's revealed to be a trap. Which is actually revealed by the Emperor, who's telling this to Luke aboard the Death Star. And basically, the entire time aboard the Death Star, the Emperor is trying to cause Luke to turn to the dark side and actually attack him and become a Sith inadvertently. And for a very long time, Luke is like, no, it's not going to work. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna turn to the dark side. I'm not gonna fight my dad. But the Emperor is absolutely convinced that, yeah, I'm gonna turn you to the dark side because I got a trick. This whole setup where the rebels are coming to destroy this newly constructed Death Star. I planned that. That's all part of my big plan. So they're gonna come. They're gonna get killed. All your friends are going to get killed, and you're going to be unable to do anything except turn to the dark side. So, of course, Han and his group get caught, and the rebels arrive, and they realize the shield generator hasn't been down, and they also realize that an entire fleet of ships are just out of sight, and they realize it's a trap. Did I act for a second? Anyway, that's a meme reference if you don't know. Look it up. Anyway, so the rebels up in space have to stay out of the line of fire of the Imperial ships while waiting for the shield generator to get destroyed. And thanks to the Ewoks and launching their surprise attack on the Empire, all the rebels down there are managed to hold off the stormtroopers and actually get into, and Han and Leia, along with C-3PO and R2-D2, try to get back into the secret base. Chewie and a couple of Ewoks managed to hijack an AT-ST. It's a really awesome fight. And again, the entire time up on the Death Star, the Emperor's like, turn to the dark side, and Luke's like, no. Emperor's like, turn to the dark side, and Luke's like, no. And at one point, Luke becomes rather frustrated, which he really shouldn't be, and actually grabs his lightsaber and tries to strike down the Emperor. But Darth Vader, and that results him and Vader get into a lightsaber fight, and pew pew pew, and then Luke goes into hiding. And Darth Vader's like, I know you're still around here. I'll find you. And I know that you're here because I can sense your concern for your friends. I can sense your concern for your sister. Maybe we can turn her to the dark side. And that makes Luke flip out. And he just starts savagely attacking Vader to the point of actually cutting off the guy's hand, which is not the first time. In fact, it's the same hand that Dooku cut off back in episode 2. Anyway, back down on the surface, Han and the others managed to get into the shield generator base and plant a bunch of bombs. And managed to blow the place up, allowing for allowing for the rebels to attack the Death Star. Back with Luke and the others, Luke is on the verge of going to the dark side when he stops, collects himself, shuts off his lightsaber, and is like, you know what, Emperor, you've lost. I'm not going to turn to the dark side. I'm not going to kill my dad. I'm not going to go with you. And then the Emperor's like, well, okay. Starts shooting lightning out of his hands, trying to kill him. And during all this, Darth Vader is watching it, and you can kind of sense in his mind that he's suddenly come to realize that all of his hard work to become a Jedi, his turn to the Sith, all the things he's been doing to try and protect those he loves and been trying to protect are suddenly crumbling around him, and he kind of realizes, oh shit, what the hell have I done? And so he grabs the Emperor, and he gets pretty badly damaged in it, but he tosses the Emperor down a large shaft into a thing that makes the Emperor explode or something. I don't know, maybe it was the reactor or something. But he's badly damaged. Luke starts to take him back to a shuttle to get him off the Death Star before it blows, because it's supposed to blow. Darth Vader is like, no, take off my helmet. And Luke helps him take off the helmet, finally revealing his face for the first time in the entirety of the original trilogy. Awesome scene, by the way. And Luke is like, come on, I gotta save you. And then Darth Vader's like, Luke, you already have. You were right. I was conflicted. But now I see everything. Now I see everything in the light side. Thank you. And with that, Darth Vader dies. Anakin Skywalker is reborn, and then Anakin Skywalker dies. So Luke is pretty upset of this, but he managed to get out of the Death Star just as the reactor is destroyed, and the entire thing gets blown up, and he gets reunited with everybody down on Endor, and they have a party, and everybody on various planets have parties because the Empire is destroyed! Yay! Freedom! Woo! And at some point, Leia admits to Han that Luke is her brother, and they have a heartfelt reunion on Endor. Everybody's partying. Luke sees the Force ghosts of Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, and everything's all hunky-dory, and that's where the film ends, and this is a really damn good film. Seriously. This was a lot of fun. A lot of great action sequences. Some of the special effects for the special edition that are on this and is widely released are quite good. And a bit of a side note, back with that slave girl way at the beginning, from what I understand, there was some new footage of her filmed for the special edition, which came out in the 90s, even though the original film came out in the early 80s. And it was the same actress in both, reprising her role in the special edition. And that's kind of cool because, and that's just a side tip, this is a cool fact I learned as a kid. This is a really good film. I strongly recommend checking it out. And in retrospect, the original trilogy was a lot better than the prequel trilogy. I don't hate the prequel trilogy. I like the prequel trilogy for what it is, but I can understand why people don't much care for it when compared to the original trilogy, because the original trilogy is a really solid set of films. And I strongly recommend checking out the entire series. So, this is me, ProtoMet, signing out.